Welcome back to the Networking Spark. Today I'm really excited to interview Tutu from Technis Academy. Tutu has written multiple books and built up an incredible business where she has over 2,000 students. She is super successful, so let's get deep into what makes Tutu tick. Tutu, thank you so much for coming on to the Networking Spark podcast.
Oh my God. Thank you, Jess, for having me.
Oh, bless you. I really appreciate the journey that you've taken to get here, and I'm really excited to talk to you. So on this podcast, I tend to delve into 4 different categories, and some people are in one, some people are in a couple. So if I just go through them.
Okay.
There's only 4, by the way.
Shoot.
So the first one is, right, I really like to find inspirational people that are really doing their thing and living their life. So obviously I asked you on. So one of the categories is entrepreneurs with multiple streams of income or just doing what they love and serving their passion. The second one is success after failure, because I believed we are forged in the fire. And you come across some people that say, no, I've never made any mistakes, but I believe that there's so much learning through that. So success after failure, networking obviously, and all the doors that it can open, and millionaires. So out of those 4 categories, which ones do you fit?
That's interesting. So I'll say all 4.
Wow.
But when you say the third one, I would say coming from the business perspective, yeah. But I'd say all 4.
Brilliant. So Tutu, tell us a little bit about you then. You are a mum, an entrepreneur. Tell us about your journey.
So I'll start from coming here as a teenager. So when I say here, to England as a teenager and coming to do my college here 20 years ago. And then from there went off and...
When you say coming here, where from?
Oh, okay. So I was born in Nigeria. And that's
not
where...
Scotland.
Not Scotland. Not Ireland.
Okay, wow, that's a good journey.
Yeah, and so I spent the most of my formative years in Nigeria, finished my secondary education, then came over to England, did my college, then went and got my first degree, then got my master's. My first degree was in software engineering. I practiced in IT for a couple of years, but it really wasn't what I wanted to do. I didn't enjoy it. I didn't enjoy just sitting down coding in front of computers. So I got myself back into university and went and trained to be a teacher. And I qualified as a maths teacher about 13 years ago. Worked in mainstream education, worked in several secondary schools over a decade. And before... I trained as a teacher before I had my daughter. So I had my daughter, and then when she got to about 3 years of age, she was really ill. I wasn't able to commit to work as I used to, and I absolutely loved what I do. I love teaching. I love working with young people. So I was having absences. I was being not late to work, but not being at work because I have hospital appointments for my daughter or clinic. And I was tutoring on the side. So I made the really hard decision to leave full-time work to be able to look after my daughter, to have a bit more flexibility. But I knew I still wanted to continue to teach. It's just that I wouldn't be able to continue to do it the way I knew how to do it. So I remember then the head teacher of the school that I was working in was trying to convince me not to leave, and he was saying, oh, so what are you going to do when you leave? I said, I'm going to see if I can do tutoring on the side. And he said, yeah, but what if, it's not always going to be consistent? How are you going to survive? How are you going to cope? And I was like, I don't know, but I'm just going to, this is what I think I need to do right now, and I'm just going to do it. So I went and started tutoring, and at one point I was going from house to house, and I had about 20 different houses I was going to every week to tutor kids. And I'll have my daughter with me. I'll have an iPad so she can watch, and I'll say to the parents, you don't mind her sitting in a corner. She's normally very good whilst I teach your children, and the majority of them had no problems with that. So when I got to about the 20 mark of houses, I decided to get a small office space and asked all the 20 parents to say, it's getting really difficult for me navigating different houses every week. Would you mind bringing your child to my little office in Chatham, in Kent? And 18 out of those 20 people said, yeah, we don't mind.
Brilliant.
We'll bring our children to you. And that's where my tutoring journey started. And I started to use that to provide for my family and started to go, well, this is something that I enjoy, but I'm also making money out of it.
It sounds like you were able to be a mum at the same time
Correct.
as build your business. Did you have much of a support structure there at home?
No, because when I registered my tutoring company, shortly after that, I had a divorce. I went through a divorce, and it was difficult, but
Was it your decision?
It was the right decision to do at the time.
Yeah.
So it was just me and my daughter, but I knew that I had a strong why. You know, the why was always back. It always went back to my daughter. Anytime I faced a big challenge, you know, I'm doing this for my daughter so that I can provide for her and I can still be flexible. And if I need to take her for hospital appointments, I can do, and I can be there for her, but still provide for her. So that's what kept me going for a long time. So I would say I fell into business by accident.
Do you think it made you become more driven being a single mum?
Absolutely, because there's no other choice, you know. As a single mom, you're the everything for your child. So what else would you do, you know? So it's always, a challenge comes along. How do we fix this rather than, let's just give up? You know?
I just think it's totally inspiring though, because it's, you know, you make a choice. You could be a victim and go, life is hard. Or you can make that choice to say, no, I'm going to fight and I'm going to do this. And that's obviously what you've done. And you're now extremely successful, which is super inspiring. If someone's listening and they are going through something similar, as in they are having to do everything, because when you're an entrepreneur and you're building your own business, it's half hard, particularly in the early years, right? And then if you're trying to juggle being a parent as well, how do you do that?
Because I think everyone's journey is going to be different, so it's really hard to give advice. But I would say for anyone going through that kind of thing, there's light at the end of the tunnel. Look around you and what do you see, and spend a lot of time brainstorming, thinking. I have a very small circle, so find that small circle and see where you can just talk to people. It's not necessarily because you want them to advise you, but you talking out would sometimes give you the solution that you need. So look beyond what you have in front of you. And for me, one of the things that kept me going during the difficult time was having something that I'm passionate about, that I really enjoyed, and I just threw myself into it. And you can't go wrong with that. You know, you love something, you go in for it, and it's going to then bring several different opportunities and avenues to thrive and to do well. So I think that would be, if I was to say that to anyone, it would be find something you really enjoy. And you wouldn't find what you really enjoy until you explore. That's the other thing as well. Because sometimes you don't know what you enjoy, or you don't think you would enjoy that. So I did dip my hands into a few things before I found this, you know, even if I'm dying and someone said, come and teach, I would spring back to life. You know?
And it sounds like you've got a logical numbers brain, but you've also got this amazing connection with people, because you were going from, you know, your IT stuff, which would suit a lot of people. But when you've got this kind of passion and purpose to want to connect with others and see them grow and help them, then you don't often get those two things coming together. And something my son said to me recently, came home from school and he said, Mum, if only my English teacher could be my maths teacher, then everything would be great.
Aww.
Because often with maths teachers, they don't have that connection or the people skills, whereas you blatantly do. So I think, would you say that's helped you to become successful?
I don't know. But I see what you're saying. But I just love working with young people, especially helping to build their confidence. Yes, maths is a subject that I teach, but I think it's only an avenue to get to know those children. And then once I get to know them, to be that sort of positive voice that they hear, or if that's going to be the only positive voice that they hear. So I just love working with people and seeing them transform. And I start with maths and I go, see, you can do it. And then it transforms to other aspects of their life, you know, and their confidence. That's the key. So I like working on young people's confidence.
And it sounds like you bring creativity into maths.
I try.
Tell us how you do that.
So when I qualified as a teacher, the first class I had absolutely hated maths. They didn't like it. They didn't enjoy it. They've had negative experience with maths. So I'm thinking they didn't want to learn. They didn't want to hear what you had to say. So I'm thinking, what am I going to do?
Because your brain shuts. Well, mine certainly did when I was at school.
Yeah.
Your brain can shut down if you're not built that way.
It's just shut down.
Yeah.
So I had to find creative ways of teaching the subject. I had to dance. I had to come up with jokes. And then I noticed with my students, like I can barely crack jokes, but when I do crack in front of my students, they laugh so hard. And I start to think, who are they laughing? What are they laughing about? Is it actually what I said?
Yeah.
So kids love my joke. I don't know how they find them funny. So I found humor. Okay, I'm going to put a lot of that into my lessons. And then started finding creative ways of teaching the maths topic. So it could be songs, it could be a rhyme, it could be a rap. I look like a fool in front of them, but they absolutely enjoyed it. And these things were starting to stick.
Yeah.
They started to remember the methods and they started to enjoy their maths classes, and they would turn around and go, is that the end of the lesson? Oh no, we want it to continue. Brilliant. And so I thought that, okay, I can help these kids. Maths is not as bad as you think it is. And I remember I was given one class, and this class, it was a very low bottom set, and everyone in that class was predicted to fail. This is what sometimes I say to parents, yet there are kids predicted to fail. So everyone was predicted to fail. And in that same class, majority of the kids they had complex behavioral problems. So nobody wants to teach them. There's always something with that class. So they gave me that class saying, I'm sure Miss will be able to manage it. And the first thing I said when they came in is, your new goal is this, because they all knew what their target was, which is to fail. So I said to them, the minimum anyone's going to get out of this class is a C grade. And you needed to see how they were kicking against that and going, no, miss, no, I'm predicted to get a G. I'm predicted to get an F. How do you expect me to get a C? And I kept repeating the same thing every single day. No, we're going to get a C. You're going to change your target grade in front of your book. We're all going to get a C in this class. We're going to put our effort in. And then I'm infusing the humor, the creativity, the dancing, the jumping around like headless chicken. And at the end of the year, 76% of these kids got their C grade.
Amazing.
And above. And I was like, wow. Thank you.
Brilliant. It's so important with kids, isn't it, to get them to find something fun. When they find it fun, then you've got them. You've got their attention.
That's it.
And then, you can rewire their brain in a way, as in, but, these kids you're talking about, they were set up to fail because they were told that, and therefore it just got lodged in, but by you repeating that all the time, amazing.
Hey, do you want to create the opportunity to step away from your business so you can work on it rather than in it? Do you need some rest and restoring time so that you can take some time to look after your body, your health, and your mind and come back stronger and better and full of creative ideas? I'd love to invite you to come on a retreat with me where we have a regular yoga practice. We have some beautiful conversations, meditations, massage, all sorts of wellness practices to really create the best version of you and for you to rest and restore and come back stronger. So if you'd like to learn more, then reach out to me, send me a DM or have a look at my website, YogiTribe.com. That's YogiTribe.com, and look at the retreats on there.
What sort of ways can you reflect that into your own life? So you are on this path of success. You've become extremely successful. What are your daily sort of habits and, what do you do to keep going?
One of the things that I do, and I've regressed slightly recently, but I'm getting back because I've set myself a target, is exercise. Exercising really helps me, not just for weight loss, it's the
Brain health,
the mental health.
And if you regressed because of time, because it's hard to fit it in?
But I could call that an excuse. I did get very, very busy, and so I've given myself a bit of leeway and say, oh, fair enough, you had a few things that you had to do, but now is an excuse. I need to get back into it, and I will, because it does really help productivity. It gives clarity. So exercise is one of the things that I really love to do. I also like to read. So you give me any recommendation, I would buy those books. And so I love reading. My day-to-day at the moment involves lots and lots of meetings, working with people, delegating, following up, and that's what I do. And part of what I also do, working with a lot of people in my team, is making sure, although it can be very difficult, but I just don't want people working with me to feel like they're working in a toxic environment. So that's part of what I strive, to make people feel good about what they do, and trying to also find out where people's strengths lie. So they might not be excelling in a particular area, and that's probably because they don't enjoy it. And just like I didn't enjoy IT, and then working with them and knowing what they really thrive well in, and then navigating them towards that place to shine.
Awesome.
I don't teach as many lessons as I used to.
Talking of which, you said you fit into all 4 categories.
Yeah.
So what is it like being a millionaire?
So I wouldn't say I do fit in, but I wouldn't say I'm a millionaire, but our company hit 7 figures. So I could say Technis hit 7 figures.
Your net worth.
Yes. So it's amazing to be able to hit that target, coming from someone who was going from house to house to tutor kids, not even really thinking about the kind of success is going to be built on it. It was just like, I just want to survive. I just want to be able to put food on the table for my child. I just want to have a warm home to go to actually hitting those kind of figures. It really did blow my mind. And you then open a lot of doors, a lot of possibilities, and say, if we can do this, then we can do anything, and then we can achieve anything. And that's what I teach the students I work with anyway, which is the growth mindset. You can do anything. If you put your mind to it, you can achieve anything. There's no limits. If you enjoy it and you put effort into it, it's only a matter of time. You're going to be fantastic at what you do.
Believe it and you can achieve it.
Absolutely. So that's what I hold on to.
Amazing. Do you think that money makes you happy?
No.
That was a very strong no.
No. 100% no.
Okay. Why not?
Money's a tool. Yes, it can get things done, but it doesn't necessarily bring happiness. happiness is a choice. It's something that you decide, because you can have all this money and still not be content.
True.
You can have all this money and still go, there's something still missing. So money is a great tool. Yes, it can be reinvested. It can be used to achieve things, maybe things that would normally have taken you longer to be able to get it. But it doesn't bring happiness. It doesn't bring joy.
Happiness
And
comes from within.
it comes from within, and it comes from choosing to be happy, choosing to do stuff that make you happy, choosing to also be.
But when you say you could use money to do stuff to make you happy, so it has got a little bit of involvement then.
So money isn't bad, I'm not gonna. Money is great, but to think, when I have money, I'm going to be happy. When I have money, I'm going to do this. Do it now.
Yeah.
When I have money, I'll be able to relax a bit. No, find ways in little. I remember, like, with my daughter at the time, when I could barely afford to buy a McDonald's Happy Meal, but we were still looking for things that was affordable for us in our own way to make us happy, to make us enjoy. So I don't necessarily believe in people waiting until they get to a certain point before they then enjoy certain things.
Agree.
Because when you do get there, you feel nothing sometimes.
But what does it mean now for your daughter? What sort of experiences is she having now? So you've gone from not being able to afford McDonald's to what?
To being able to afford what she wants, what she needs. So it's now, being as a parent, being able to go, right, that's a want, not really a need. Should I really be letting you have that, or should I withdraw? Just trying to also understand, get her to understand being grateful, and being happy with what you have, and also being content, because then there's the, kids, they want to follow the trend. There's something new coming up. You don't necessarily have to have that. But it feels really great that, I can provide for her. I can send her on school trips that I probably wouldn't have been able to afford before. It just feels great to know that, I can do those things.
And also amazing that she's been on this journey with you. Absolutely. I don't know how much she remembers from when you weren't able to afford things. But for her to see mum, work really, really hard, or not, and just use your creativity and your entrepreneurship to create something. Going from one place to the other. So let's talk about success after failure. What would you say your most painful experience has been, or has there been anything in life that's felt like a big failure and then you've built up after that?
So we started Technics Academy in 2017. So I say we, like I started it. So again, I started having people joining me. And then we had 4 centres in Kent. We had one in Chatham, one in Sittingbourne, Ashford, and Gravesend. And across those 4 centres, we had 120 students. And I would go from one centre to the other just to make sure everything's ticking how it should. And it was bringing in something decent. I was providing for my family, me and my daughter. I was happy. And then COVID hit. And and I had to close all those centres. And at that same time was when I was going through the divorce, and I had just also left my full-time work. I'd left my full-time work before, but I remember them asking me to come back to do supply. And they said, even though supply is normally agency, we'll have you back as a full supply person. And I also let that go because I thought it's just becoming really hard to combine that with Technics Academy. So it all happened in 1 month, literally March 2020. I felt like I hit the rock bottom.
Everything happened
at the same time. There was no income anymore, not from an employer, not from my business. Business is shut down. I'm now a single mom with a little girl and nothing. And we're meant to stay indoors, not talk to anyone, not go out. And so I went to 0 students, and I remember going, that can't just be it. I'm sure there's still something that I can do. And, sat down thinking several times. And then I sent an email out to all the 120 parents to say, I've thought about going online, during this pandemic, and I would be more than happy to teach your kids. And out of those 120 students, 2 of them came back. I remember that lesson vividly. 2 came back online.
Is that all?
That's
Seriously?
all. 2 students. I remember those 2 students came back online. Those were the 2 parents that said, we're very much. And I thought, ooh.
That's crazy. So what were the other 118 doing then?
I think a lot of people went, they weren't familiar with learning online at the time. And if anything, people, I think, were more focused to staying alive during that pandemic than sending their child for tutoring. Not to forget that school was probably having some arrangements also. So tutoring was the last thing on the mind of many people at the time. And so I thought, okay. So I was scrolling through Facebook on one of those days, and I saw this guy selling a course. So like you said, you went for a course for your podcast. So I thought, and he was saying he can help teachers to how they can put themselves in front of their audience. And I just jumped at the course. He had a meeting with me, and he said, I'm going to charge 1,500. I said, I don't have that. Where am I going to get that from? He said, well, I can maybe split it into installments for you. I said, split it into 3 installments. I said, I still can't afford it. He ended up splitting it into 6 installments after many begging. And I started a course, and he said, I'm going to use you and a few other people as a case study because it's the first time I'm running the course. And I remember one of my direct debits failing for the installments as well because I just didn't have enough money. But I went into that course with everything that I had. Every single assignment he gave, I learned it. I did everything. I turned up for every meeting. And the first time we launched our ads, because we all had to launch our ads, I enrolled 22 students in one day. And so that's how we built the online tutoring from 2 students to 2,000 students.
Wow.
And yeah.
Amazing. The rest is history.
The rest is history.
Yeah, so that was an amazing moment. How did you celebrate?
That's the thing. I think all of this is a journey. I think there's never been a point where you go and go, yes, we've done it. When we did hit the 7 figures, I did feel that, whoa, wow, we've done this. But I don't think there's much time to reflect too much. You just keep going, and I absolutely enjoy the journey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how busy are you? Like what's your daily work day look like at the moment? So you've built up a team now, which is amazing. And sometimes building the team is like the major point to know whether you're going to be successful or not. But what's your day-to-day life look like?
So day-to-day is meetings.
Yeah.
Day-to-day is just meetings, talking to professionals who are fantastic at what they do. So we have HR lead, who manage the people. I have a marketing team. I have the teachers themselves. I have vice principals that work with me. I have meetings with them. We have our front desk team who do more of the operational side. They deal with the parents and the students day in, day out. We'll have meetings, So all of these people are my go-to people, and I speak to them on a daily basis.
Incredible. Can you talk us through building a team? Because I've spoken to other people that have not been successful in building a team. And I think it's a really important thing. So how did it work with you? Who was the first person you took on? And then how did it grow from there?
So the first person I took on was an old colleague who we were teaching at school together. And I just said, can you help me out? Because I'm starting to I'm teaching from when kids break off from school from 4:00 till 9 p.m. at night. I can't do it all on my own. And he came and joined me. And I think the advice I would give to people looking to build teams is to start as early as possible. If you're going to build something tangible and successful, you can't do it on your own. And so most times what most people worry about is, how am I going to pay them? I barely have enough for myself than paying. Start where you can, maybe start with, I can only offer you 2 hours at the moment, and then build from there. But the more people you get on board and the earlier you get them on board, the quicker. And so that's how I built my team every time I realized. But in hindsight, I would have even done it even earlier. I wouldn't wait until I'm spilling over, really busy, struggling to cope. I would do it well in advance.
And like, how do you go about finding someone in HR or someone in marketing? Did you use an agency? What did you do?
So it does change. When I first started out, I wasn't using an agency. I was literally just calling people up and saying, or seeing people do stuff, and I go, I see you do an HR thing consultation. Can you do it with me? Now we use agencies. Now we're on LinkedIn. Now we're on Indeed. Now we'll post vacancies on social media for people to apply. We have tons and tons of CVs in our inboxes. And the other thing we've also tried to do is overhire, because we've learned from experiences.
Does that not cost you a lot of money, overhiring?
It will cost money, but if you see it as investment, you're investing back into your business.
As long as you're growing.
You're growing. You're growing, and it's also giving us a chance to put a good, firm structure in place, so that when we do scale, we're ready for it.
When we scale. All this positive stuff that you put in the children's brain, you put in your brain as well.
Because it did happen, I said to you, the first time I opened the ads up, we recruited 22 students. So when we grew very quickly into 2,000 students, we weren't ready for it. So there's, most business people would want to grow and would want to scale. But sometimes my question is, are you actually ready for that scale? Because if you're not ready and you scale, it's disaster. So we grew very quickly and we're barely, surviving. And so we had a moment where, we were able to pause and go, right, come on, let's put a good structure in place. Let's reorganize. Let's do what we need to do so that when that pressure comes, we're ready for it. And so that's where the overhiring comes. So one person never feels like they're too overwhelmed. There's always somebody else to step in. There's more than one person who knows what one person is doing.
Sounds like you've got a happy team.
We're working towards it.
There's a big pause that said a lot.
I can't sit here and go, I've got a happy team. I think you should be talking to them rather than me to find out if they're happy. And we do a regular, feedback to check in, but you can never be 100% with those things, but we're definitely work in progress with that.
Your daughter must be super proud of you, though.
She says that sometimes.
Yeah, how nice to hear that, though. When you were a little girl, what did you want to be when you grew up?
I remember wanting to be a journalist for whatever reason. That is the one, because I didn't even think of being a teacher, even though my dad was a teacher. So he was a lecturer, but it never occurred to me. But I remember also being that person in my classroom who would break things down for people who don't understand, and that wasn't because I was particularly bright myself.
I bet you were.
No, I wasn't. And my students are shocked when I say to them, I got a C in maths, because they think I must have got an A or an A star in maths. Yeah. So I found out in school, and I didn't think I was good enough at school. Okay. But over the years, I've now understood, I process things differently, and I'm very slow at processing stuff. And then I just thought then that I was dumb, but
almost
now
verging on dyslexia?
Could be. I remember saying that recently. Could be, but it just takes me a while to process information. I would need a bit of repetition. But once I get it, you can't take it away from me.
I bet that's what makes you an incredible teacher, because you have that understanding, whereas often you'll have maths teacher who are like, well, it's just that, these are the rules, that's it, just get it. Yeah. Whereas because you've had to go through this process, and that for you personally, it takes a while for things to soak in. You're then able to pass that on to other kids, which I think is brilliant.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So where do you want to be in 5 to 10 years' time? Have you got any dreams still, or are you? I know you are happy where you are now, because that's how you live. But if you're thinking about dreams, aspirations, goals, what would those be?
5 to 10 years from now, I would have wanted to explore everything that God has laid on my mind to do. Because I can't sit still. Like, I know very similar because you're a woman of many hats. I can't sit still. I've got my hands in different stuff. I'm like, that's a good idea. Why don't we do it? And it's not always good ideas. So aside the tutoring, we provide childcare services for kids. We work with schools. I've also gone and dipped my hands into the transportation side of the business, where that's going to go. So I feel like if there's a problem, if I see there's a problem and I have some form of interest in that area, I would explore. So 5 to 10 years from now, I want to be able to have explored everything that God has laid on my heart to do and explore them. Some of them would be successful, and some of them might not be as successful, but you still learn from it. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to the ones that I've created to be able to run by itself, because I've got fantastic people in my team who just do what they need to do, and they do it so well.
Because you've got those systems up and running, which is really important when
Correct.
you're building a business.
Correct.
Yeah. So are you deeply religious? Would you call yourself religious, spiritual? What would you say?
I'm a Christian. I believe there's a God. I believe when things get overwhelming, there's someone there to reach out to.
Do you feel a guidance sometimes?
I do. And I listen. I feel like my gut instinct is God's voice for me, and I listen carefully to it. So
some people call it intuition.
Some people call it intuition.
Yeah, there's all sorts of words for it, but it's important to listen and to check in.
100%.
Do you do that daily, often?
Daily. I used to have a notepad where I write everything, but it always gets lost. So when something comes to my mind, I put it on my notepad on my phone. I write it down. Write everything down, because then you never know. Yeah.
Okay. So a quick fire round of questions. Your toughest, most painful thing you've been through?
Toughest bit I would say is forgiving myself for staying too long in a relationship that didn't work for me. I just stayed way too long, and I forgave the other person before I forgave myself.
Wow.
I was really hard on myself for a long time, and I think I hit depression without even knowing I'd hit depression. But one of the things that got me out was my work. Every time I got in front of those kids, I just forgot everything. And then I come out and I'm thinking, oh, I'm back here again. So that was the toughest time. That was the darkest time for me, forgiving myself and just letting myself heal and know that, it's okay.
And what was the moment that you forgave yourself? Was it a moment, or is it a gradual thing?
I think it was a gradual thing. I think it was a very gradual process.
Because maybe you stayed because you thought it was the right thing for your daughter. So maybe there was a reason, I don't know. But then you really realised that it really wasn't, and you made that move eventually. But it's a tough thing to step out.
It's hard. And especially from my culture, you coming out of a marriage can be deemed as a huge failure, because it's mostly the woman who builds the home. So if that breakdown then happens, then you're seen as a complete failure. That was tough. And so being able to go, don't care what anybody else thinks, it's fine. Or even if they think so, that's entirely up to them, this is for me, and I'm being at peace with my decision. It did take a while, but I'm glad that when I did then make that decision, there was no there was no, I was settled. I felt free. I felt it was the right time. I felt I'd done everything I could possibly do. There was no, oh, should I haven't? None of that.
Best moment?
Best moment is always, I don't think there's one fixed best moment. My best moments is when I'm able to do what I want to do, when I want to do it, and how I want to do it without anyone's approval.
And that's what success brings, freedom?
Depends on you, because I know some people who are very successful, but they're not free.
And they've paid a price for it. There is a price sometimes with success.
So it's so it depends on the individual, how they want to build. And again, it depends on what you define success as. Some people define success as plenty money. Some people define success as being happy. Some people will define success as being free. So my definition of success is freedom and impact.
Awesome. Yeah, I like that. What annoys you or makes you feel sad?
It's just not being around people you can't trust. That's really hard for me. I just want to be able to trust people. So if you're around me and I can't really trust, it becomes really difficult for me.
Yeah, agree.
And what makes me sad is when I see young people who just don't think life is worth it, or they're not confident, or so it's always I want to jump out and help.
Yeah, love that. What makes you happy? I'd imagine it's the same thing.
What makes me happy? What makes me happy is knowing that I have impact. The work that I'm doing is impactful. Yeah. Someone is benefiting from it. I published my most recent book that I published. It says the name of it is A Mom's Success Story. I remember someone saying, "Oh God, this is awesome. This book is going to do so well," And I said, I haven't actually thought about that. I said, I'm thinking if my story helps just 2 people, I'm done.
Yeah, amazing.
I'm sorted.
How long did it take you to write that?
Took about over a year.
Yeah.
And that's just me in between flights, writing in my note on my phone, just writing, putting things down. Yeah.
It takes quite a lot of dedication to write a book.
It does.
Yeah. Would you write another one? I mean, you've written multiple books, right? But
my first 5 books were for kids. They were maths books for kids. So I don't know if that would count. But the most recent one, it's an actual book for mums who want to go in. It's really catered for mums looking for multiple streams of income, and specifically for single mums, because one big factor for single mums, one common factor is finance, Single moms, we're always short of finance. We always need that extra income. And so, that's what the book is about.
So if you can sum up some of the top tips from your book, what would they be?
One of it is building your own tribe, like literally finding your own people, and it can be a small circle where you can build your own support system, however small it is. Number 2 is exploring different avenues and then finding which one works, and then just zoom down into it and put everything into what you have. And the other one is, if you need something, you got to go for it, so you need to wake up really early and get grinding. Do what you need to do.
Love it.
To be
the
able
early
to
bird catches the worm.
Absolutely.
What time do you wake up?
My alarm is 3:30, but it used to be 3:30.
Wow. Okay. Wow. wow. What time do you go to bed?
So because I wake up really early, it's really hard to catch me late. So I'm in bed same time as my daughter. Yeah. So 8:00, 8:30. Someone called me last night around 9. Yeah. But I was already asleep. So
Amazing. 3:30. Yeah. So I know another entrepreneur that wakes up at that time, sometimes earlier. I'm a 4 or a 5 o'clock girl, but
By 7 o'clock, I'm done for the day. And then anything after 7 is reactive. You know, I'm reacting to stuff happening around me. The
Yeah.
actual work done before 7.
Yeah, I'm the same as you. So Tutu, you're truly inspirational. I'm sure you've inspired lots of people by talking about how you've made your way to where you are today. So thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there anything else you'd like to share before you go?
I'll just say you are truly as inspirational. So thank
you
you so much for having me. Keep doing what you're doing. I can see the passion. I can see the joy. And I absolutely love people who are happy at what they do. Even if it's cleaning that you're doing, just be happy at it. Just do what makes you tick. Absolutely. What makes you happy.
What a lovely way to end that. What a lovely piece of advice. Thank you from my heart. Brilliant. Join a dynamic community of driven entrepreneurs, professionals, and industry leaders who are passionate about growth, and like-minded individuals who inspire, support, and empower you to reach new heights. Expand your network and connect with a diverse range of professionals across various industries. Increase your visibility and showcase your expertise and services in a relaxed atmosphere. Learn from industry experts, attend workshops, and stay ahead of the thread. Build genuine connections that can lead to new clients, partnerships, and collaborations. Boost your confidence. Surround yourself with a supportive community that believes in your success. So don't miss out on this opportunity to ignite your business growth. Join Spark Business Networking to unlock endless possibilities for your entrepreneurial journey. Spark Business Networking, where connections ignite success.